breaking news I don't think anybody can ignore or get away from is Pedro Neto to Chelsea, done deal, over the line. Staffy, talk to me, bro, because you're being called out in the comments section by Don and everybody else already. Talk to me, bro. How you feeling about this deal?
Bro, when Don calls you out, you know maybe you're doing something good in life. So don't even worry about it. Don't be upset if Don calls you out. But no, I mean he's saying I'm looking. I don't know what he said, but it's just too early for me here, Don. That's how it is. I just woke up an hour ago.
Yeah, he
But
says you're looking
anyways,
jittery. He says you're looking jittery, bruv.
yeah, I'm just tired, Don. I just woke up, bro. I'm having a Celsius just to give myself some energy. So that's what's going on right now. Anyways, Pedro Neto. I'm not gonna lie. This is what I do on this is my Friday routine. I wake up like about an hour and a half before the show, because I got work. I start scrolling. Oh, let me see what I missed in the past few hours. Oh, okay. Fabrizio, Ornstein. And I see Pedro Neto to Chelsea. Where did that come from? Because I didn't see any links about it all summer. I thought he'd potentially go to Arsenal. There was some links to Spurs. Then I just saw Chelsea, and I'm like, did anyone talk about this? Did you hear any Chelsea fans saying we want Pedro Neto this summer? If you did, fair enough.
Can I just interject you real quickly there?
Yeah, go ahead.
So Simon Phillips reported on this probably in early July. And interestingly, when I did a video this morning and spoke about Chelsea doing more after Samuel Amarodium, I mentioned Neto. And the amount of Chelsea fans said there's no links to him. And I've replied to a few saying, no, there is. You guys have had some interest in him earlier on in the summer. 2 hours later, they signed him. It's a little eerie for me today. I'm not even going to lie, but sorry, back to you, Staffy.
No. I mean, listen, fair enough for you if you reported that as well. I'm just saying I didn't hear anything about it, and
I only reported it because I've heard Simon Phillips report it, is what I'm saying. Only because Simon Phillips has touched on it before. That's all. Sorry, mate. Sorry to interject again.
No, you're good. But yeah, listen, at the end of the day, let's just be. I mean, we got to talk about it as it is right now. Who cares if I expected it or not? Pedro Neto. Most clubs would have told you, yeah, I would take Pedro Neto in my team. If you would have told me, Staffy, would you take Pedro Neto at United? I would have told you yes. He would have been. He'd definitely be one of my best wingers at the club. So it is a good signing in isolation. I know people talk about his injury record. Yes, it is a worry. I've seen a few tweets today making fun about how many goals he had in the last few years. Let's be a little bit more objective. He has been injured a lot. He's a constant goal threat, even when he doesn't get the goals. He's that one player that even when he doesn't score the goal, the danger comes from him and it could lead to a goal. So I would be very interested to see what his stats are when it comes to actions leading to goal. And when I say actions leading to goal, for people who want to know, it's like when you do something that leads to a goal, that's not necessarily a goal and an assist. So you can have a shot deflected, then someone taps it in. You can have the pass to assist, stuff like that. And these are very important elements to look at outside of GA. So he's a very good player. His press is very good. You can easily look at Wolves the last 2 seasons, say he's their best player. Once again, I'm back here talking about Chelsea, and I'm saying I don't know. I'm so tired of talking about Chelsea because every time I make an opinion on what's going on right now, they go ahead and change it all. Today I said it in the top 6 chat. I was saying they told me Nkunku will play left wing, and Don shamelessly tried to pretend that he never said that. There was a time where they said they're going to play Palmer in the middle. And I said, what does that do to Nkunku? They said, we'll push him down the left. Now they had signed someone to play down the left. Because David was saying in the chat also, now he expects a team with no Lavia in it. And all we heard last season, wait until Lavia is back. I'm not even trying to shit on Chelsea's parade. I'm really not. I'm not trying to sound like a hater. But I just look at all the signings that they make, all the changes that they make at once. They always make too many changes at once. And I'm looking at it again, I'm going to next season, and I'm like, I don't know what to expect. Because everything they said to me, now it looks like it's going to be different. Because I'm seeing a midfield that potentially might be Enzo Caicedo and what's his name? And Palmer playing in the middle. Now I'm seeing they're saying, sorry, not Palmer. Cuckoo down the middle, Palmer on the right, now Neto on the left. I think also this is a very important point that we need to speak about, in my opinion. I feel like this is admission that they failed with some of their signings 2 seasons ago. That's what I'm gonna say. Fair enough. They're fixing some of their failed signings. And I said that. I said if they get rid of Poch, they need to get rid of a lot of players because some of these players are not good enough. Them signing Pedro Neto, to me, is them raising the white flag, throwing in the towel, saying we give up on Mudryk. Maybe Sterling as well, because he comes in and he starts over those two on the left. Now I don't know if that means any of them rotate on the right, because obviously they have what's his name over there, Medawake and whoever else. So it's a lot of ways to look at these signings that they're making. I don't know how Lawless feels about this.
Yeah, like I mean, I just don't know how Chelsea, man, pulling this off, man. Everyone else worrying about PSR and FFP and all of that, and Chelsea, man, they just keep spending and spending. And like you said, on paper, it is a good sign, and when he plays, it's a great player to have in your squad, in your team. The injury record is a massive concern. And this is the thing, you know, Don specifically last season said, you know, we had this player injured, injuries. Now we'll have all the players back. Like, if you sign injury-prone players, I'm not hearing, oh, he was injured as an excuse. Do you know what I mean? Oh, if only we had Neto fit. Well, you knew there was a good chance that he wouldn't be fit because of his track record. So I think that is the downside of it. But yeah, I mean, the upside of it massively strengthens and builds the squad depth so they can go and attack the Premier League and the Conference League. Do you know what I mean? They want to battle on both fronts. They want a team that can try and win that Conference League. It's, you know what I mean? And I know we did it, but we'll see. But I don't know what Chelsea are going to be doing. Apparently, we're going to talk about them getting Osimhen and all of that. Like, I would like to know their spend so far. I would like to know the figures.
Well, someone told me if someone can work it out, someone goes, let's use transfer market as an indicator. Someone on that show on Monday stated it, on Tuesday said it's 189 million euros so far. This deal is going to push it, therefore, to what, 230, 240. They could then be buying Osimhen, which can push their spend up past 300 million euros, potentially. What I want to say about Neto to begin with, though, I think this is the only element of him that's potentially poor is his injury record. That's it. That's the only part. I'm not worried about the GA nonsense. That's going to be used as a stick to beat him over the head with. But the reason his GA was so low is because vast majority of the time, who the hell is he squaring the ball to at Wolves? Generally speaking, who? Last year, Wolves started scoring more goals. Guess what? He had a really good season with goals and assists because the team was better. So I think in this Chelsea team, if he's squaring those balls, by the way, he could be squaring those balls to a Victor Osimhen before the end of this window. He's going to get the GA factor in there. This man can take people on. I think his overall play is good. The only other question mark I would have is he plays for Wolves, so there's always a lot of space to run into. How is he going to cope in against more low block where there's less room and less space? That's still a question mark, but that's the same whenever you buy somebody off of a team like Wolves where they have more time and they have more space. But overall, I think it's an excellent piece of business. Of course, if he can stay fit. He has had major injury problems in the last few years. And for him as an individual and as a person, I hope that he does stay fit. I think he's the right age profile. I believe that he's a marked improvement on all of their current wide players. Better than Madueke, better than, everybody's better than Mahalo Mudryk in a Chelsea shirt. So he improves them there. And it's the third piece of actually improving the core of Chelsea this summer. They're then looking at Victor Osimhen. And if that's their four main signings this summer, with maybe Samuel Amorodian as a sort of, they're saying now he's going to be second or third choice striker behind, hopefully, Victor Osimhen and Jackson, then I actually think it's a good summer of growth for Chelsea. Forget all the kids they've signed, because I don't think they're signing most of these kids to play for their first team. I believe 50% of all these kids they've signed are to be flipped and sold in 2 years' time to make profit. So actually, I think signing 4 or 5 players to improve your first team in a summer is sensible and smart. When you start doing 8s and 9s and 10s, as we've seen other clubs do before, and Chelsea, I still don't believe it helps create chemistry. You're adding too many new factors into a team that's already got some disjointed issues. So if you've got Tosin, Dewsbury Hall, Pedro Neto, and potentially Osimhen coming into this Chelsea team, I believe that's enough for them to improve. If this manager is as good as they are telling us he is, there is no reason for them not to make to at the very least not challenge for the top 4 this season. They must be winning with these signings the Conference League. They have to win the Conference League. That is not winning that in that particular section of their season is unsuccessful. And this should be a team that concedes far less than last season and a team that scores far more than last year. I think this is an excellent signing. If they then go and get Victor Osimhen, I think it's a very good summer for Chelsea. I'm personally ignoring most of these kids they've signed. I believe they're giving them the fanfare so they can hope to sell them on later on down the line. I'm ignoring the 50, 60 people that everyone keep talking about in their first team squad. There'll only be 20 to 23 training day-to-day with the first team. And I know there's a bit of banter that goes into all of that. But outside of that, I think it's a good bit of business, really. I really do. I'm a little bit annoyed. I'm a bit, as I said, if Man United signed him, I'd say the same thing. The injury record worries me. But if this guy clicks at Chelsea, he's going to be dangerous for him.
He's a good player. I was checking some stats as we're speaking right now because I don't like to jump the gun. Because people like to talk about goals. Yeah, his goal output, let's just be honest, his goal output is pretty bad. Like I'm looking at it right now, he averages 0.12 goals a game per 90, I should say. So that's pretty low. But when we look at his assists, he averages 0.53, which puts him in the 99% percentile. So that's pretty high. So you can tell that he's more of an assist machine than a goal scorer. He doesn't score a lot, but outside of GA, listen, we all have eyes and we watch him play. He's an amazing carrier of the ball. He runs with the ball well. He can take on a man. He can run in behind, and he causes danger. And as you said, you made a very good point, Terry. When you look at the crop of players that he played with, not that I think Chelsea's amazing team right now, I'd be lying, but they are better than some of the teammates that he's had over the years at Wolves. And if you remember, he played a big chunk of his career with what's his name, Nuno Santo. I think he played with Nuno Santo for a couple of years, and we all looked at him as a very good defensive coach. We never really associated, like when you look at this Wolves team over the years, we didn't really associate them at their pump for like being a very good goal scoring team. They were always a very good defensive team. Like I don't remember some of his partnerships. His best partner was probably Raul Jimenez. And he had a concussion, or he had his obviously that head injury that I mean kind of ruined his career a little bit. So he's never really played next to like elite players. It would be interesting to see how he links up with Nkunku, with Palmer. That's what I'm saying. In isolation, the signing is good. I'll never sit here and say this is a bad signing because I would have took him at United. And I think Arsenal fans wanted him, Spurs fans wanted him, and I think there's a point that Liverpool wanted him as well. So he would have been a good signing for most of our clubs, outside obviously his injuries. You know, but we can differentiate that between that and what Chelsea's doing. And I guess you might be right. Most of these players, they're going to flip in the next few years. I'm hearing some people saying loan these players out. Their roster, bro, by the way, I'm not going to lie. I don't think I've ever seen a roster of a team look that big. Like, you guys are a little bit older than me. I don't think you guys, in the few years that you watch Premier League before I started watching Premier League, have you ever seen a squad this big?
But I think it's a strategy.
I don't think so.
But I think it's a strategy because then what you can do on paper is say, well, no, we're not selling you an academy player. He's in the first team squad. That adds money. That adds valuation. That adds valuation to players, and they're playing an interesting game. Look, I've said it before about Chelsea. The only way it goes horribly wrong at Chelsea is if they don't get back into the Champions League and start winning. I think in the next 2 seasons, if they don't, that's where the problems could lie because the overarching revenue and income for the club is going to reduce because the lower you finish in the league and the less you're in the Champions League, the lower your TV income, the lower your sponsorship income. This is just normal. Every single club will have the same clauses with sponsors. And I know this because I deal with sponsors all the time. You know, if you don't hit certain numbers or of sales, like shirt sales, or if you're not in certain competition for a prolonged period of time, they reduce how much they're paying you. Plus, you get bonuses when you're in these competitions or if you win them. So this is like Chelsea needs to get back to winning ways. But the size of their squad, that's just one of those things for me right now. Where I say it could be a problem is if they don't get the success on the pitch and they have financial issues. Yes, they could sell some of these players, but then they still might not be progressing. But if they get back into the Champions League and they start progressing in that way, and then they sell 20 odd of these players, which I wouldn't be surprised, and they make just 50% return on each on top of what they paid, suddenly their income is going to fly into the 800, 900 million pound mark. Then they're going to have even more money to spend on players. So financially, I understand the strategy, but essentially, for all the crap, it's all dependent on them being successful on the pitch again. And that's where the biggest conversation around Chelsea should be happening over the next 2 to 3 years is how good are they going to be on the football pitch? And